Hello, my loves. So grateful today to be going live with Isis Indriya, mother, teacher, guide, founder of Academy of Oracle Arts. She runs pilgrimages to Egypt, also an event producer, an all-around incredible epic human. We're very blessed to be going live with her today. I'm just going to take some time. Okay, very excited to be going live with Isis. We actually were speaking last year around Isis coming to Heart of the Rose. And hello, around Isis coming to Heart of the Rose, and also Medicine Festival, the Rose Temple, Medicine Festival, and then super grateful that Isis said yes to doing the summit this year. Isis is going to be sharing with Rachel. She's going to be sharing on the Empress codes, which we're going to be speaking a little bit about today. We're also going to be speaking about the importance of community. And these communities starting to come together. For some reason, I see you requested. Yay!
Yay! Our power just went out. Have no idea why all over the town.
Wow.
So
Oh my
lucky
God.
we even have reception.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining, Isis. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Such a gift, truly. Thank you. And with power outage as well. It's really nice to see you and speak with you. And I was just sharing what an epic, incredible human you are, Queen, bringing through such important codes at this time and just doing so much as well, in so many epic ways. And I was just sharing that I remember I was reflecting, I was like, we did speak last year around you coming to Heart of the Rose, but then it didn't align with timings. And I'm just so grateful that you and Rachel can do the summit. Yeah, it feels really exciting. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me and also for the vision that you're carrying of uniting all of those that are very devoted to the Rose lineage and the Rose path and the temples and uniting us all together in this summit. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And I know that you guys are going to be sharing on the Empress Curse. And I just wondered, I know you're going to obviously be sharing a lot more about that next week, but if you could maybe give people a taster as to what that is, why it's important, why it felt right to share, and yeah, why is it important for women to remember these codes at this time?
Mm. Well, I love the field of the Empress, and from an ancient Egyptian perspective, and the lineage of the word, but we'll talk more about that in our time together next week. But there's a quality of caretaking and tending
Mm,
to self, the family, and the community. It's really not a power over, it's a tending and caretaking together.
mm,
And from a tarot's perspective, with the card, oftentimes in a traditional way, you see the Empress pregnant. And in her location in the Tree of Life, which is a blueprint that I love, she is crossing the High Priestess. And so there's a
mm,
relationship with the Empress and the High Priestess,
mm,
where the Empress is in direct communion with, as a High Priestess, with the Great Mystery,
mm,
and not only receiving and tuning in, but also being a vehicle for birthing from her just fertility, really, her fertility and her abundant nature to continue to birth what is relevant and necessary
mm,
for the self, for the community, for the time,
mm,
and in direct relation with the high priestess, as a high priestess that is in relationship with the unseen, the invisible, and the visible realms at the threshold. And I feel like that's exactly where we are right now. We're in a
mhm,
threshold moment,
mhm,
and we're birthing, we're part of this process of birthing really a new consciousness, and thus a new way of approaching our families and our villages and our communities
mm,
and our cultures, and also in that way a society. And so it
mm,
just feels so relevant. And the other piece about the empress is that there are, in from an an ancient Egyptian perspective, in this context, that word doesn't come from ancient Egypt, but there's a relation there.
mm,
She's very much in service to cosmic law, cosmic order, and cosmic truth, ma'at,
mm,
restoring ma'at, restoring ma'atian law,
mm,
which is supporting the tending to and maintaining the harmony through all relations, human and more than human, rooted in a deep respect and reverence for all life.
mm,
And it
mm,
just feels that way. And also to Rachel, who will be doing this with, we were just musing the other day on how this feeling of the Empress, it's like a council. There's not like one,
mm,
it's a council of
mm,
empresses that counsel together and commune together and notice and pay attention to what is revealing itself and emerging in the center.
mm,
And that's what it feels like with the summit. It's a council of sitting up in our bodies and our thrones, our hearts, our minds, our bodies, our spirits, our life, as the dream of our ancestors, to come into council for the
mm,
turning of this time, this
mhm,
time of transition, and to hold, intend, and create the field together for what wants to not only be remembered, restored, and revived, but also birthed in a new way with wisdom from the past and our ancient origins and communion with the future.
mm,
Mhm.
mm. Beautiful, thank you. It feels very timely and necessary to be feeling into these codes. It reminded me of this story, or not story, that they used to, the original kings and queens of England was supposedly chosen by the land first through a vision. The land would show someone the vision, and then they would be first in service to the land and then to the people. It's like this ancient way that we've kind of forgotten that we are in service first to the land, to each other, and not power with that we all. I had this beautiful story, this study they did, and they said they went to I always forget the exact details, but the it stayed with me. Kind of idea behind it, that they went to a village and they taught the men to run a business. And they went to another village and they taught the women. And when the men learned, only the men rose, but when the women learned, everyone rose, because there was something about, we cannot rise unless we rise together. Like there, we
Mhm.
are inherently interconnected and interweaved, and why it's a role of the feminine and women at this time, not a negation of the masculine, not a negation to man, but to kind of come together to all lead and to all show the way back to the body, back to the land, back to the heart.
Mm. I
I
love
feel,
that.
yeah.
And if I love that too, because in the communion with the Empress from some of the mystery teachings perspectives, she is 100% in service and in listening
Mm,
to the Holy
mm,
Mother, the Earth, and a lot of times, and the Cosmic Mother and the cosmos, the sky, the heavenly realms. And a lot of times they would go into the womb caves themselves to like listen and attune and pay attention from what wants
mm,
to birth from the darkness. And not darkness not darkness that equals malevolence at
mm,
all.
mm,
Darkness is like, the dark womb of the mother.
mm,
And that
mm,
we go into these caves in our meditation or literally to listen together and then bring
mm,
forward what
mm,
is being revealed and notice what's noticing us
Mm,
versus it being one person,
mm,
noticing what's noticing us and feeling into what is shared amongst our deeper listening.
mm. Yeah, and that stillness. We've forgotten how to listen in that space or be comfortable in that stillness, in that darkness, so we really can align our mind, our little conditioned mind with the greater mind. Um, yeah, thank you for sharing that. It feels really, I'm really glad you guys are bringing that piece. It feels really important and powerful and very excited. Um, and also in relation to that, like for me, my journey um, of service has been so in relation to the rose and listening to her and listening from this place of stillness as to what she wants, what she wants to birth through. And I'm wondering what has been your connection with the rose? What has been your journey with her?
It's always interesting to consider the signposts along the way in life, and then noticing when the signpost becomes a very clear path,
Mm,
or a very clear, or even a clear direction to carve a path,
mhm,
you know.
mhm,
And was very young. My mom died at 4.5, and for so much of my life it was this deep longing to be close to her.
mm,
And in this deep longing to be close to her and with her, even though I was surrounded by women and mothers and grandmothers my whole life, my dad,
mm,
really grateful to him, he did a good job of making sure that I had a lot of women around me.
mm,
I still long for her, and in the longing for her, it led me to communing with the more than human realms, or
mm,
the darkness.
mm,
And so she became my holy mother at a very young age.
mm,
And I learned way, way later in the shamanic way of the bee book, studying the Melisai and the
mm,
sacred, the bee traditions, the bee priestesses, that her name, Deborah, was the name of one of the initiating names. And that was my mom's
mm,
name. That is my mom's name.
mm. Wow.
And so it's almost like,
Wow.
I, being on the path, but not realizing
Mm.
entirely. And then when I was, I think, 18, somebody had gifted me the book Magdalene manuscript.
Wow, 18, that's epic.
It took me like a minute to get through it, but I started my path reading with that book, and then,
Mm,
Tom Kenyon, and
mm,
started. And it's so amazing now, though, because there's just so much revealing now, more than ever. Back then, there wasn't very much. You couldn't find much.
mm,
And now it's just magnificent because it's just
mm,
so alive in the culture.
mm,
And, then around 1920 is when I, through a series of, events, I followed a teacher that followed her teacher to Kemet, to Egypt. And I
mm,
went to Kemet and began my journeys in the studies of Egypt.
mm,
And my birthday is tomorrow, and I'm turning 47. And I would say that I'm still learning, and I'm still
mhm,
devoted to the path. It's like,
mm,
it's a never ending journey because we're remembering and together,
mm,
and we're restoring what was tried and in some ways planned to erase.
mm,
And we're restoring the memory together. So when we come together, more is revealed. And it's endless. That's one thing I love about the mystery teachings, is we will never know it all in
mm,
our deeper inner knowing. We'll just always
mm,
be in study and relation together. It's the best.
mm. In infinite levels, yeah. The mind wants to get there, but the higher mind accepts. That's amazing. Can I just honor it's your birthday tomorrow as well? That's pretty epic. Just celebrating you. Virgo, are you
Thank
Virgo?
you.
Virgo. Yeah, epic. Beautiful. Epic tapping on that new moon lip.
I'll be in
Thank you.
practice tomorrow. Highly recommend practicing for,
Um,
to those that are listening. It's a good time to practice and just go
Mm,
inward. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow.
beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for
Hmm.
sharing. If anyone wants to listen, do you have any practice you recommend? Anything specific you ever want to share on, or just
Well, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a few things. I have a tea practice, so I'll start with that. And
mm,
then I'm studying Qigong and sword form. And then I'll be going
lovely,
into Kundalini.
lovely.
And then after that, and that will be at the time through the eclipse. And then
Mm,
my own personal work that I do at my altar with whom I'm in service and relation with. We're also in the time of Aset,
mm,
Isis. This is her timeline. And
mm,
on the 21st and the 22nd is when it becomes the time of Aset, Isis.
wow.
Right now we're in the time of Geb, which is where the food and the provisions and the abundance of the earth. And then we move in tomorrow to the time of
Mm,
Aset. So I'll be doing my observances and hymns for her.
so beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing
Mhm.
that, for honoring your devotion.
Which and in that way too, which is so magnificent that we're in communion right now, is the lineage and the Mirafores and the Magdalene and the Rose lineage and the Marys is very much in relationship with Aset, with Isis.
Mm, mm,
And so that we're having this convo today, and then tomorrow we enter into her month, her
mm,
season
mm.
of of the lineage of the rose.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And that was one thing I actually did want to ask you. I feel like you're the best person to ask around this. And that is the relation. What is the relation between Isis and the Rose lineage? Like,
Oh,
yeah, like that, you might want to chat for a while, but like, like I'm so curious because yeah, over to you.
well, there's so much there and there's so much uncovering too. So I just want to
Mm,
acknowledge this, like I already did, this magnificent time of the apocalypse and the unveiling, and everything we thought we knew is changing every second and growing and
mm,
developing more. So I just want to acknowledge this time. In the stories, there's Magdalene, Mary is a name of initiation. You become initiated to become Mary or
mm,
Mera, which also relates to the sea, the great sea, and the great sea that is the holy waters of life, the feminine, but it's also the great sea of the cosmos. And a lot of the old, priestess traditions, when we commune with the holy water spirit of life, that's the Akashic library of the memory of the cosmos and the emerald earth and like the water in our body, and we commune with and read the water too, like that, the reflections of the great sea in the sky, the stars is in the water. And so it's a way to read
mm,
the sky too
mm,
and track the stars and our star lineages and be with the cosmic mother in the water.
mm,
And in these old, most magnificent traditions revealing themselves live every day, there's all these stories of the Mirafores, which were this lineage of women, the myrrh bearers that are connected to myrrh, to the resin myrrh, and the myrrh bearers, the Morah, that were the carriers and the protectors of the mystery teachings of the Ouroboros, the serpent eating its tail, life, death, and rebirth and resurrection.
mm, mm,
And in the caretaking of the mystery teachings, the caretakings of the soul and the spirit, the Ka and the Ba, uh, and also how to move between the veil, between different heavenly realms, and to even bring things or bring transmissions, open up oracular gates, all these things. There's also this lineage into Kemet, into Egypt.
mm,
In Aset, Isis, East, is also known to be a holy mother. Her child Heru Horus. And in her temple in Philae was when one of the grand resurrection rites
mm,
was performed, and the rites to unite all of the parts of Asad, Osiris, and or the parts of consciousness or the forgetfulness, into fuse them into union again, for to resurrect them into wholeness, and then also go through initiation. I mean, there's so much to that, but in that lineage, the mystery teachings of Kemet in ancient Egypt and were part of the training for the
Mm,
priestesses and the Miraphors. Stories of them going to train there, you know, the Akashic Library, Temple of Edfu, and or Library of Alexandria, going to train there, and also to carry forward these teachings of the soul and the
mm,
soul teachings, which is big, you know, soul incarnation, soul fractures and fissures,
mm,
soul retrievals, soul resurrection, and ascension teachings and descension teachings. There's
mm,
so much to it. It's just magnificent through ritual and ceremony and prayer and hymns and adoration, and to maintain the bonds to between us as humans with the cosmic forces at play in the spirits of the natural world. So we bond,
mm, mm.
you know. There's so much there, you know. It's why I'm such a nerd, and I could literally study from books and through interior temple work and community ritual and personal ritual eternally.
Thank you. Yeah, I can understand. Never ending. I always think of that in relation to also the Inanna journey. It must be linked, right? It kind of just feels unending of a deepening, cyclical human experience. But yeah, thank you for sharing. That's really beautiful. I feel like I need to go back and re-listen to like really take in those nuggets of wisdom that you just shared. And I know we were just doing a little short life dive. Won't keep you for too much longer, but I want to finish with sharing around community and the importance of community at this time. I know we've been in discussion a bit the last few months around um, what the greater vision for Heart the Rose Summit is, and also sharing what you um, came through last year in relation to communion. And maybe I'll share a tiny bit in case people watching don't know, but Heart the Rose is going online. The guidance was to be in person for the last 5 years and it's going online this year, with the guidance very specifically being to connect the global rose family, to collect, well, to connect the global rose sister. It's time to connect the global rose sisterhood, but to also welcome the brothers and the whole rose family, and the real importance of building these, even building, but um, inviting these rose communities that are already forming around the world to start to kind of create a much larger network, um, in service to this path of love, in service to the return of the mother, in service to this return of the feminine, return back to our hearts. And part of that is a bigger long-term platform that's going to be birthed in the summit, where we'll be doing regular prayers and regular ceremonies together online with these different communities, that it feels like is going to be very, very important, even more important in these coming years, that there are these kind of anchor points around the planet holding this frequency, um, of the rose, of the heart, of this divine love, of this awareness that we are but divine and human, and, and that we are here to embody this light even more deeply, love even more deeply. And I know that you came through this beautiful communion, and we're running that last year, and that's something you're really um, excited about. I guess I say passionate about is gathering people in community in prayer, and the importance of that at this time. I'm wondering if you could share more around that.
I would love to. Thank you. Thank you for this vision. I'm so into it. Um, well, you know, eh, with the Rose lineage, you know, like I just, definitely want to acknowledge the Knights Templar for protecting
Mm,
the Rose lineage at this time. But, you know, with the Rose lineage and the teachings of Venus,
mm,
you know, which I know will be coming, I believe, in the summit, the
mm,
mystery teachings of Venus and the Venusian rites and traditions and rituals and all of the thousand names of the Holy Mother and all her forms and cultures all over the world. Something that unites us is the Mother
mm,
and the Holy Mother. And I was feeling into the spirit of communion,
mm,
you know, community, communion,
mm,
commune, and
mm,
communing with the sacred in a sacred way of life. and really just acknowledging with all of the challenges and colonization dynamics, also the commitment of the Christian church to do these Sunday services that are free
mm,
by
mm,
donation.
mm,
And remembering in a lot of the old traditions through studies and, visioning states, that the women used to hold these circles, these
mm,
services. And then in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I'm like, well, who's the Holy Spirit? Is the Holy Mother,
mm,
And restoring the Sunday service
mm,
all over the world, all of our cultures and traditions in relationship to the mother, restoring that because it's the most, copied book in the world is the Bible. And, perhaps aside from Mecca, and the Quran,
mm,
Sunday service is one of the most popular gathering points to commune with
mm,
God, creation, the sacred. And I was like, this is our nature to gather and commune with the sacred. And it's the women haven't been leading these ceremonies globally,
mm,
but we've been doing them and we're
mm,
remembering to do them more. And so this vision of, because one of my friends, he was a pastor, he left the church. We were in Kemet together and I was just so fascinated. I was talking to him for hours. Like all I want to do is just talk with him all over Kemet. And he said, some of the mystery teachings, why he left the church, is some of the mystery teachings of the actual service is to
mm,
follow and tend to the Holy Mother and care for her.
mm, mm,
And the reason why I left the church is because they would not honor that.
mm,
And so I was like, now I feel a divine directive. And so we started last year a Sunday service called Commune and
mm,
Communion. We commune and then we are in relation with communion. We took a break. We just started again and just feel like this is something that is natural to all of us.
mm,
And while we're in this time of, visioning the next phase of our humanity in the societies we are building together, communing on a regular basis in relationship to this is a way where our mycelial network as humans grows very fast. Not resisting anything, we're communing and building.
mm. Amen to that. I've heard so many people say that community, it's just all about these next few years, it's all about community. It's all about, like, we already know we can no longer do it on our own. Like, it's just, we can't. And we're here to birth a new way, to bring a new frequency through, and we can only do that together, and joining our hearts together. And it's interesting you spoke about the Knights of the Temple because it feels like I love what you said because as we know, like the original Aramaic prayer was like our Mother, Father in heaven, which is written out the mother. Like wow, like and I feel like when you think about it, you're like, wait, what? I remember reading Azra and Siren's book.
I love them. Mm,
I love them. I love them. I was very excited when they said yes to the summit.
mm,
Because I feel so many have woken up through reading their books as well. Just like I know for
mhm.
me, I had a deep awakening from that, and just really being like, it's all about the womb. It's how did we like what happened? Like it's all about the mother, and it's not a negation. It's not a negation to the father. It's just we just it's something I shared yesterday. Something came through when I first had Heart of Rose, and um it was in relation to the return of the mother. It's like she is returning, but in truth she never left. She's simply waiting for us to remember her power again, which is just so true. Like it's like we're just where she's always been. We just I love that your friend left because of that. That feels really powerful. It's time for her to return, or for us to honor her all together. And I'm
Together.
excited to together, and I'm excited to stay in touch. Maybe how that could form as well globally, doing that online, and because I have heard over these next few years that we may, well, obviously AI and everything, but we're going to be going online. There's going to need to be also kind of like counter to some of the kind of more dark things that are happening with AI, that we're anchoring these codes of like through AI and with AI and through technology, but for the good of all things, obviously.
Well, I'm very
Um,
excited to talk to you about that because I really love global prayer. And with Unify, I've done that quite a bit. And I just feel like we're so lucky that we can
mm,
sync up in global prayer at this time. It's a new time in our human story. And
mm.
so, yeah, I'm about it.
And what was that beautiful thing you said when it like when 8,000 or something? What's that beautiful? You shared that once that when 8,000 people gather or something. It was like a
Oh,
help.
what it's really only, in a lot of the studies around prayer is that there's a percentage, it's only really 1%. Some say it's
Mm,
10, but it's a percentage of coherence. And
mm,
so when 10% at the minimum finds a field of coherence
mm,
around a prayer or experience, a feeling, it
mm,
ripples to the 100%. And
mm,
so if we do the math on that for the humanity, it's really not that much.
mhm,
The key is coherence and focus and like attunement.
mm,
The hardest part is to even agree to not agree
mm,
and in a circle. And what I love about one of my teachers that was Orland Bishop in
mm,
Shui, they were sharing about sometimes when it's so focused on the personal idea or vision or even belief, it makes that harder. But if we focus on what's in the center, what's in
mm,
the space between us, and that becomes the
mm,
focus, the field of coherence moves in a different way
mm,
because it's
mm,
not one person's understanding or belief. It's what's in the center where they all meet.
mm. Beautiful.
So we can do this.
We can do it. We're doing
We're
this.
doing this.
We're doing it. Thank you, Isis. That's a beautiful, beautiful note to end on. Coming to the center. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all that you're doing in the world. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for being such a guide for so many. And yeah, just all that you're carrying so beautifully and gracefully. And thank you so much for being part of the summit. I'm so excited for you and Rachel to share next week, next Friday. I hope you have a really epic birthday. Might be
Thank
anything.
you.
Thank you, my love. Look forward to meeting in person. Look forward to having you in Ireland as well, potentially soon, right? Excited. Next month, was it? Maybe.
Sorry, which part?
Coming to Ireland next month, are you? Or coming to
Oh,
the
that
UK?
is the plan. We'll see how it unfolds. I'll keep you posted, but it's looking like that's the plan.
Look forward to it. Sending you lots of maybe even in person next year at Medicine or Heart of the Rose. Who knows? Magic is afoot. But thank you, my love. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. Blessings, everyone. Commune
Thank
soon.
you, everyone.